Well, let's talk about the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment is the only amendment in the entire, it's the only part of the entire Constitution that actually talks about regulation. A well-regulated militia being essential to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And so, shouldn't we be regulating guns like we do cars? You have to have insurance, you have to register the gun, and you have to demonstrate proficiency in use. That sounds reasonable. Noel Flasterstein might disagree. He's an attorney specializing in Second Amendment gun rights cases and is actually defending a woman in a case right now. She was fired for bringing a gun to work. Do I have that right?
You are correct. And the problem with what occurred there is how she was terminated, because our lawsuit, although it makes reference to the Second Amendment, it's really not about the Second Amendment. So it's not really a federal case. What it's specifically focused on is Article 1, Section 8 of the Florida Constitution, which is a mirror image of the Second Amendment, except we left out that part about a well-regulated militia. And in addition, Florida statute, which provides that an employer cannot discriminate against its employees by questioning whether they're a concealed weapons permit holder, by disallowing them to have firearms in their locked and secured in their automobile, and additionally, taking the plain language of that statute, as I have cited in the case, they cannot terminate an employee or expel a customer or an invitee from going to the workplace with a concealed weapon. Now, they can terminate them if they openly display it, and it's not for a lawful defensive purposes. So if my client went to the bank and said, "Hey guys, look at this new Glock I got," then the bank would be well within its right to terminate her, but they can't terminate her just because they do not like.
Well, how did they find out that she had a concealed weapon if she didn't tell somebody?
That we're not clear, and I'm sure as we move forward in the suit, it will come out. The bank has plenty of cameras. They never offered any photos of it being obvious that she displayed her weapon. My guess is maybe somebody saw her leaving it in her car, taking it off from her personage and leaving it there, and they got scared. Maybe somebody noticed a bulge in her clothing and discerned that it was a gun. And for all we know, if they did see a bulge in her clothing, it could have been her cell phone.
Right? Doesn't that So if people live in Florida, there's every possibility that any business that they walk into, whether it's the local daycare center or the local McDonald's or the local Bank of America office, they might be talking to an employee, or the local post office, they might be talking to an employee who is carrying a gun, and the employer cannot prevent them from carrying that gun. After all the people who went postal and have continued to do so in workplaces around the country, isn't that kind of crazy? I mean, shouldn't Florida be considering changing that stupid law?
Well, of course, I don't think it's stupid. I think it's a very good law. Now, in terms of
why is it a good law?
Huh?
Why is it a good law? Do you really want employees of of a daycare center or the post office carrying guns?
Well, let's clarify. First of all, no one can ever have a firearm in any federal building. So, post office off the books. Daycare center, if it qualifies as a school under Florida law, then they would be prohibited from walking or going in there with a firearm concealed. And of course, obviously, we do not allow open carry in Florida. Now, what this means, and I think it's a very good law, is a business. Florida is one state where we have our concealed weapon permit laws. We do not allow what they call opt-out, a business to opt out. See, in places like Colorado, where you had the mass shooting in the theater, the theater that was chosen by that madman was an opt-out business. It clearly had a sign, "No weapons allowed." Colorado permits its private businesses to disallow concealed carry on their business premises. Florida does not. And in fact, if you discriminate against a person exercising their Second Amendment right, their Florida constitutional right, you can be sued. And luckily, the statute provides for attorney's fees. So we're going to go all the way with this, and this will be an interesting case, and we'll see how it plays out.
And you might make a buck in it, too.
I might make a buck in it, too, or I might be hurting. But yeah. I feel that just based on the plain language of the statute, the text, I never want to say we have a slam dunk case, because my opinion, your best day in court is 50-50. When the law's on your side, when the fact's on your side, it's still only 50-50 because you don't know what that judge is thinking, you don't know what their interpretation of the law is, and you definitely don't know what the jury is thinking.
Sure. No, I understand all that. And I don't disagree. Why shouldn't we? I mean, we've numerous people from the president on down have tried to initiate a national conversation about gun control. And the NRA and the various, they being propped up and paid for by the gun manufacturers, and other various groups that are paid for by the gun manufacturers or supported by the NRA, have succeeded in basically preventing that conversation from happening. Don't you think it's reasonable that for example, this thing of let's do with guns like we do with tasers, that you have etched onto the firing pin a serial number for the gun, so that if a shell casing is left behind, the police know what gun it came from. What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that is you're going to make an unnecessary added cost to the law.
$7 a gun. An average gun costs $400 or $500. That's not a big deal.
Yeah, but if you start requiring this, marking is what they call it on shells.
Right.
That's going to increase the price of shells.
No, it's not. You etch the firing pin with the number, and then when it hits the firing pin of the gun, and so or the hammer of the gun, so that when that hits what's that little part in the middle of the bullet? Is that the firing? What's that part that's explosive in the middle of the bullet, in the middle of the round that ignites the powder in it?
Firing pin.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what? I can't say I would disagree with some measure of that nature.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
all right.
Fair enough.
Noel Flasterstein, his website is gunrightsforyou.com. Attorney specializing in the Second Amendment gun rights. Keep us up to date on how your case goes, Noel.
We'll do, Tom.
Okay. Good talking with you. We'll be back. It is 15 minutes past the hour. I still think register them, insure them, prove you know how to use them.